So, Christian is on round 3 of the potato field. The new potato field. His parents are here. A week ago, he already, I don't know what you call it. Basically broke up the earth with these little, I don't even know what you call that. Anyway, he spent all morning with the plow, which is over there, plowing it. That gets it deeper. Now he's going back through it with a thing that I don't know the word for in English. To just even everything out, break up all the clumps. And then we're going to plant us a bunch of potatoes. We've only done steps 2 and 3 now, or he has already only done steps 2 and 3 for the right half. We haven't decided yet if we're going to do the second half this year, or if we're just going to cover it up with tarps for next year. We'll have to see how many of the potatoes we use up on this half. But this is potato and tomato week. Yesterday we planted all the tomatoes with my in-laws. And today and tomorrow we're going to do the potatoes. Whoop, 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 woo! Yay! Yum. Okay, so they have made rows. And now the kids' job has come. 30 centimeters apart, each potato, with the eyes pointing upwards. So how many rows do we have total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 rows total. Great job, guys. Das macht ihr aber super. Tobs, guck mich an. Super Arbeit. Great job.
War schon längst fertig.
Ja. And now Opa and Papa are covering the rows with mounds of dirt.
Hier sind viele Punkte und da ist der Daumen.
The kids were racing to see who was done with their row first.
Wie hast du geschrieben, Christian?
Nee.
Ich muss mir einen Bohrer suchen.
Ein Statiker.
Ach, ich muss mir einen Statiker suchen. Ich muss in meine Decke ein Loch machen, damit meine Tomatenpflanzen,
Oben durchs Dach wachsen können.
Ja, die sind schon so hoch, die kommen schon an ein Dach.
die kommen schon an die Decke.
An der Decke.
Ach so, im Wohnzimmer.
Ja,
Das wird doch ein Tomatenbaum.
genau.
Da habe ich geschrieben, was habe ich geschrieben?
Weihnachtsbäume haben sie früher auch.
Früher haben sie die Weihnachtsbäume,
Also die Decken.
die Decken auch ein Loch gebohrt. Da konnten sie gleich auf 2 Etagen Weihnachten feiern.
Und so kannst du auf 2 Etagen ernten, hat sie gesagt.
So kannst du auf 2 Etagen Tomaten ernten.
So my mother-in-law is giggling because Christian's brother made a joke about how huge his tomato plants are, that he's going to have to drill a hole in his ceiling because otherwise they just won't fit anymore. And she made a joke back about, oh yeah, but then you can pick tomatoes on both levels of your house. And then she was appalled that I had that on video, of course. So we finished the potatoes. My father-in-law insisted on 2 extra rows, so we did that the next day. And then I want to show you how we mowed this last weekend. I'll switch the camera around. So we decided not to, we only added 2 rows, so there are 9 total. And this part of the field, I will plant pumpkins on. They have lots and lots of vines that will kind of cover the dirt and keep the weeds from coming up. But we also mowed and scattered the grass clippings all over this part to just kind of try to keep the weeds held back a bit. And then we also, and we're not finished with this, I'll have to wait until next weekend when I mow again. In between each row of potatoes, we scattered grass clippings. Again, just to make our job a bit easier so that we do not have so many weeds coming up between rows that will choke out the potatoes. So that's the process. Actually, Martin mowed most of this and then just dumped each round the grass clippings out here for me and my mother-in-law to scatter between rows and on the other half of the potato field. With potatoes, you're supposed to switch the planting out anyway. You're not supposed to plant on the same piece of land every year because it just wears out, all the nutrients are used up. And your land is sort of depleted of nutrients, and your things that you're growing don't do well. There are exceptions, like pumpkins aren't going to deplete too much energy. And then we'll get manure. Our neighbors here have horses, and we're allowed to climb over this fence and gather up the manure. Right now they've got their horses around the corner. Just got a baby horse, so I think they're keeping it close by for now. But I don't know if you can see the baby horse there. But they've got nice bits of healthy manure. We'll then spread that out on the potato field that isn't currently in use. And the next year, instead of on the right side having potatoes, we will have our potatoes on the left side. And that probably won't be enough for my father-in-law, so we'll probably have to extend it out, which is fine. We've got plenty of room here. And we can extend the field out to here. There we have 2 pecan trees that we planted. Oh, I don't know, it's been a while yet. Maybe 4 years ago? 3? No, I don't know. Anyway. Yeah. And I told you that we did our tomato field, so I thought, or our tomato patch, so I thought I would show you that as well. A friend of ours took some drone pictures and videos of our village. And here you can see our house. I've got an arrow pointing to it. And a red heart. On the right side is our barn and a smaller barn. I want to show you where the potato and tomato spots are in relation to our house. So here is the perimeter of our land in red, and you can see our house on the top right corner of the piece of land, and our barns there underneath it. The blue is where our potato field is now at least this year half of it and next year half of it. And here in a yellow circle is our tomato spot. You can actually see a hole in the roof there. That was before Christian had done a repair. So yeah, that's where we've got our tomatoes. Here is our tomato patch. We also did this with my in-laws. Christian and I had prepared it all. And I'm sorry I did not take a video of this process at all this year. But Christian built this little protection for it quite a few years ago after we lost an entire year's worth of tomatoes because of a a leaf sickness that actually then affects the tomatoes. We didn't eat one tomato one year and had like 60 plants because the rain falling on them is really bad for them and they get a sickness, or they can get a sickness if there's a lot of moisture. So Christian built this, but every 2 years or so he has to replace these plastic roofing sheets because they just get really, from the sun, get really cracked and worn out. So we replaced those. Then we got all the weeds out of here. And right over next to this spot, we have our compost. And since Christian obviously is not going to move this big thing every year, we have to bring the nutrients to this spot. So every year, he dumps tons of dirt from the compost that's been sifted onto the spot so that the dirt isn't all worn out there. And again, here we did grass clippings all around the tomatoes to keep weeds away. It's also good for the soil. And you can see all these potatoes. These are planting potatoes that we didn't use, much to my father-in-law's dismay, but we have plenty. And it was all we could do to keep him from wanting to plant the entire field over there. But we put our foot down. My mother-in-law helped by putting her foot down. And I am very, very happy with how much we got done. They are really hard workers, put us to shame. Put me to shame. So here are tomatoes. We have lots of different kinds. Red, yellow, green. 2 different red kinds, and then a yellow kind and a green kind. Oh, 3 different red kinds. One beefsteak tomato. Yeah, so that is what we got this past weekend. Super, super happy. We also worked with them planning some house building. They will hopefully be moving to our village in the next year or so. We've already met with the architect. And anyway, so we did lots of where the front door should be on the front or on the side. There's a lot of disagreement between my in-laws over that. Anyway, so it was just a very, very nice weekend with them. We got a lot done, got a lot discussed, and yeah, very happy. I hope you enjoyed seeing a little bit of our process. And now we just have to make sure that we keep those potatoes weed-free, relatively weed-free, so that we have a good potato crop.